Having stopped reading, Alex discovers a small penny taped to the back of Peter's chapter page. Alex has the lucky penny. The question is, where are we going to go and use the lucky penny? Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to save. Oh.
Please help me.
What's this? Hello? Ghost lady?
I can't get the blood out.
Okay, but we did find the basement key. A small antiquated key, somewhat rusted by the ravages of time. This is the key to the basement of the Roivas mansion. An old coin with a particular mark. An old coin marked in a particular manner. It held sentimental value for someone. Whoever holds the penny will undoubtedly receive good fortune. Well, in Peter's... put the books away. In Peter's case, it was good luck. Alright, we're going down in the basement. Now, Maximilian went down in the basement, and bad things happened down there. Well, for Alex, there's some shotgun shells. Oh, that doesn't sound good. And there's a fuse box. A fuse box and circuit breaker array is situated upon the wall. All but one of the fuses are intact. The absence of this one is suspicious, and until it is replaced, the circuit connected to it is useless. Well, we know how to deal with that, don't we? Alex jams the lucky penny into place of the missing fuse. And the power has been restored in the bathroom upstairs. A well-maintained fuse box and circuit breaker array is situated on the wall. A lucky penny is jammed in place of one of the fuses, closing the circuit. Now that's not everything down here in the basement. There's this huge safe. The safe is large and old-fashioned, made in the days when security was derived from the heavy metal construct rather than secure locking mechanisms. It doesn't look like it would be too difficult to break the combination. If only Alex had a stethoscope to hear the tumblers more clearly. Now, I don't remember the password offhand. Well, not the I guess the password or the combination offhand. But even if you did, you couldn't open it until you find a stethoscope. Now this is the well that Max went down. We can't even look at it. It's actually been cemented over. But there is a new room down here. A brass framework hangs above the ceiling, cradling the globe in the observatory above. It seems to have been modified, now part of some elaborate locking mechanism. So whatever room we're in is right underneath the observatory. Okay, let's head up. We're gonna head to the bathroom. And that once really nice idyllic painting is now this macabre scene. A hellish depiction of some monstrous landscape. A blood-colored sky hangs over a dementedly surreal land. in which flayed skin flaps in an acidic breeze. What mind could have conceived this? Okay, I do believe it was this one. And there's a page from the Journal of Maximilian Roivas. Let's read it. This is a page from Maximilian Roivas' journal. It reads, I sought to love all, yet now love causes me pain and suffering. I have learned to fear nothing, although it is nothing that I fear most. All that were loyal to me now number among my worst enemies. An antique medicine cabinet hangs on the wall. Its wood is stained from years of use and the ambient humidity of the room. Should Alex open the cabinet? Hidden away inside the medical cabinet is a chapter page from the Tome of Eternal Darkness, and it is entitled A Legacy of Darkness. Oh, Pius is popping in again.
You are not free to leave this plane until you complete a task for me. You are to hunt and kill the master of this house. Do this one thing, and you will be free. Else fear the wrath of Xel'lotath. Everything is complete for your arrival, Master. Now we must wait for the planets to align, and that is not too many years from now. Another Roivas has crossed our path. This time, we will not be so merciful.
Mercy has no place in this world. It is only a place for me.
He will meet such a horrible death that the rest of the line will never set foot in his house again.
Pray to me that they don't. Pray to me anyway.
You are not free to leave this plane until you complete a task for me. You are to hunt and kill the master of this house. Do this one thing, and you will be free. Else fear the wrath of Chattur'gha. Everything is complete for your arrival, Master. Now we must wait for the planets to align, and that is not too many years from now. Another Roivas has crossed our path. This time, we will not be so merciful. He will meet such a horrible death that the rest of the line will never set foot in his house again. You are not free to leave this plane until you complete a task for me. You are to hunt and kill the master of this house. Do this one thing, and you will be free. Else fear the wrath of Xel'lotath. Everything is complete for your arrival, Master. Now we must wait for the planets to align, and that is not too many years from now. Another Roivas has crossed our path. This time, we will not be so merciful.
Mercy has no place in this world.
He will meet such a horrible death that the rest of the line will never set foot in his house again.
Pray to me that they don't.
The ancients have such wonderful dialogue. Especially Xel'lotath, because it's almost as if she's saying what she wants to say and also saying what she's thinking at the same time. Like, if you ever thought you had like this little voice in the back of your head that's telling you to say one thing, but you kind of either censor yourself or you try to act polite and you kind of say something a little more tactful. Well, I guess Xel'lotath is like the ego and the superego are talking at the same time. Alright, but now, a legacy of darkness. Now this is Grandpa's chapter. And this is the Rhode Island Estate, 1952.
My education in psychiatry did not prepare me. I would love to see how Freud's view of his mother would change with the knowledge of Chattur'gha. How Skinner would incorporate Xel'lotath into his behaviorist theories. How Jung would accommodate Ulioth into his theory of the collective unconscious. Like my ancestor Maximilian, I too had an interest in my family tree. As a psychiatrist, I believed that science could provide answers into my family's sordid, bizarre past. It was with great excitement that I began my search. The mansion's history was filled with my colorful predecessors. Everything from convicted and hung witches to committed madmen, each laying their own peculiar mark on its character. I intended to find their secrets.
Alright, so this is Edward Roivas. This is Alex's grandfather. He's been popping up as a ghost at different parts of the game. We've also seen him at the end of some chapters. Like, for example, when Dr. Lindsay brought him the Heart of Mantarok, and when Peter Jacob brought him the Artifact of Chattur'gha. Even that artifact would change depending on the alignment of the ancient that you picked in the beginning of the game. Now, Grandpa here is voiced by Neil Dixon. Neil Dixon I looked into and is another voice actor that shows up a lot, but I didn't see any real notable performances. He did a lot of TV in addition to a lot of voice work, but he showed up in a lot of video games. For example, the Elder Scrolls series, some of the Lord of the Rings games, several of the Star Wars games. I also found out that he appeared in the Gargoyles cartoon as a couple of different characters. Alright, the Journal of Family History rests on the mantle as if used recently. Alright, Edward has found a historical journal. An old musty book bound in dry, dusty leather. This book covers the early history of the Roivas family, dating back before the settlers in this land. There appears to be something pressed between the pages. Alright, well, what is it? The minute hand of a clock. Alright, good find. Edward here does not have a lot of goodies. He has his liquid courage. A small flask of the old sauce, liquid courage. A magical elixir to provide one's spirit, to power one's spirit in the face of adversity. Bottoms up. Using this will regain sanity. It's not magic. It's just alcohol. Politely, she asks Edward if there's anything she can do for him. Nope, not at the moment. We're just gonna wander around.
You know who I am, Edward. Although you are doing your best not to believe it, I am, or was, Maximilian Roivas, your ancestor. I died in an asylum after trying to warn the world. The pain and anguish I felt in that cell has empowered me to linger after my death. I must complete what I started, Edward. The darkness must be stopped, or all of humanity may Sets the clock to the 33rd minute of the 3rd hour.
Well, you heard the man. A looming grandfather clock stands ominously in the corner, gazing on the empty room with an almost patriarchal air of its own. The ghost asked Edward to set the clock, but there are no hands on it. Edward must find the clock hands so he can set it properly. We have one. So now we have to find the hour hand. And look, sitting right here on this chair, an ancient scroll of paper. It's the Magic Pool spell. Now, Magic Pool spell is one we've been using. Oh, that's right, he doesn't have the tome yet, so we can't look at it. But that spell that I've been using that puts a icon floating over our head and slowly regenerates our health or our magic, well, that's the Magic Pool spell. Alright, how about the basement? The door is locked. Of course it is. How about we just leave? Edward's curiosity can't leave the mystery alone. He drives himself to uncover the truth behind the mansion and his ancestors. A large carriage clock sitting on the foyer table, beautifully crafted, but appears to be stuck, with the hands set permanently to 3:33. As Edward nears, the servant stops mumbling to herself and asks him if he thinks the weather will clear up before the solstice. Edward finds the reference to the solstice rather odd and ponders its significance. Now, I'm pretty sure Maximilian was asked the same question. Edward had never learned the piano, but that has not stopped him from hammering away at the keys now and again. It is very therapeutic. Perhaps one day he would learn it properly. You know, I've tried for years, most unsuccessfully, to learn the piano. My fingering isn't actually that bad, but I can't read sheet music for the life of me. I have to sit there and decipher it like it's like some sort of ancient script. An antique cavalry saber mounted on a display stand gleams in the moonlight. And we have a saber. Our first weapon. A bizarre, decorated mantle frames the fireplace, adorned with odd sigils arranged in a circular fashion. It is unlike most of the art in the house. Perhaps this has some special significance. Yeah, it does, and we as the player already know what it is. Yeah, let's go this way. Alright, some 38 revolver ammo. Hello, sir. Courteously, the servant asks if Edward is in good health. Ooh, shotgun shells. So that means Edward is going to find a revolver and a shotgun. The master bathroom is woefully Spartan and only barely contemporary. It appears to satisfy the most practical of tastes, perhaps someone who has their mind set on other things. Shotgun shells, and elephant gun ammunition. Now let's take a look at that for a second. A box of 50 by 3 nitro cartridges. These are shells for the elephant gun. Yes, in this chapter, Edward can find a extremely powerful rifle called a elephant gun, but he just doesn't find it. He actually has to work for it, and when we get to that point, I'll explain a little more. A journal of family history rests on the bench. An old musty book bound in dry leather. This book covers the recent history of the Roivas family, going back perhaps 150 years. There appears to be something pressed between the pages. Alright, there's the hour hand. We can go set the clock, but we're going to finish exploring up here first. I guess this is the guest bathroom. The room is a holdover from the days when the servants were all residential help living in the mansion. Rumor has it that the old servants' quarters were demolished long ago. Muttering to herself as she works, the servant comments on how the mansion is never really clean. Oh! That didn't sound pleasant. She informed Edwards that she believes the weather will worsen, and that she hasn't heard of it being this bad for many decades. An exorbitant and out-of-place stained glass window ends the hallway. Whoever put it here had eclectic taste, and confirms Edward's belief that the mansion is more folly than a real house. Eclectic? Eclectic taste. Now, way back at the beginning of the game, we did this same puzzle with Alex. So Edward is now going to fix the clock and open the secret passage. Alright. Pardon me, I just hit the microphone.
They are humanity's only hope. Destroy the Guardians, Edward, and avenge my wasted death.
Alright, well, before we grab the tome, we're going to pick up all the goodies in this room, including a revolver. And now for the Tome of Eternal Darkness. Upon the desk was the work of a madman, frantic scribblings on torn newspaper that had somehow weathered the years. Were these Maximilian's ravings laid out in choppy scrolls of ink? Or the testament of humanity's savior wanting to fuel the battle against the Guardians? Okay, so now we have our spell book, and we can look at our new spell. Magic Pool. Did I miss spell 10? I hope not. This dread scroll contains a secret of arcane magic. It reads, "This magic transfers the innate magical energies of the environment to the self. The limitless power of the ancients will be at your disposal for the duration of the magic. Once the magic has waned, you'll be bereft of your spiritual power until it naturally seeps back into your being. And this spell requires the Tyr and Regamor runes. Now, I want to double check our quick spells, because we're about to have an unhappy encounter. Okay, our sword is enchanted. Let's put our shield up. And we're also going to put our magic pool up. No, we're not. Game said no. I should have put that up first. Alright, I guess he pretty much needs like a full magic bar. Alright, now this is the Mantarok magical pool. That means all three of our stats will be slowly recovering. Now I'm saving at this point because this is possible to screw up and miss out on a goodie. That maid got attacked by something, and that something turned invisible and ran off. And now, well, now she's a monster. She's not possessed by a bone thief, she's just been kind of zombified. Half a key tumbles out from the vase that has been toppled and smashed. It glints on the floor. We found the bottom half of the basement key. Now hopefully I can cast this fast enough. We can now see the invisible creatures. Because there's an invisible creature running around killing our servants. And there it is. Now I could attack it now, but that's not the best thing to do. Best thing to do is follow it until it attacks one of your servants and then save them. Take that, subspace. Now this is down in the basement. Now this is the vampire creature. I was confusing it with the one we fought earlier in the ruins with Lindsay. Shaken by his brush with death, the servant gives his thanks. He warns that the creature might still be around, and extra firepower would be handy. Reminded by his own words, he fishes a key from his pocket and gives it to Edward. And we now have the gun cabinet key. The gun cabinet is back over this way. Edward is reassured at the sight of the family gun cabinet, itself a priceless antique. He'd rather not have to smash the window to get inside, but where did he leave the key? He didn't leave the key, one of the servants had it. Now if I was not quick enough to save that servant, we would never get the chance to get the elephant gun. Right, mode. This function allows the character to change the fire selector on guns. For example, the elephant gun can be fired in single shot or double shot. Well, you know, single barrel or double barrel. We're going to leave it double barrel for the time being, but we're going to keep the saber. Now the enchantment on the saber has waned, so we're going to re-enchant it. The creature is down in the basement, still recharging itself, but eventually it's going to come running up. We can no longer see invisible. So let's fix that. We actually may or may not hear it open the door. Oh, there it is. It's going upstairs again. There it goes. It's bad. It's very bad. But we're going to take care of it. There you go. Run off. Run home to mommy. Actually, kind of running home to mommy. Running back home to Xel'lotath. Grateful for having their life spared from the monster, the servant offers this token of thanks. Yeah, more elephant gun ammo. So we probably have to do this 1 or 2 more times before the creature will get the idea. But it is possible that it can kill our servants. In addition to, losing our servants, we miss out on any items that they can give us. Okay, and you know what? While I'm at it, I'm going to refresh the magical fountain. Now, while it's beneficial to have our health and our magic being slowly, constantly restored, there it is. It does mean we're going to miss out on the sanity effects. Where are you going? Back upstairs, huh? Oh, no, got too close to him. You leave him alone. No, don't hit your own... Alright, in its desperation to escape from Edward, the vampire creature drops the top half of a key onto the floor. Edward picks up the top half of the basement key. Now from this point on, the creature is going to stay in the basement. We have to go down there and kill it ourselves. Alright, grateful. What do you offer? Shotgun shells. Thank you. Do you have anything to share? Nope. Alright, so we're going to want to be able to see invisible. The creature is still invisible. And we want our sword enchanted. Alright, and like we did earlier, we need to mix the top half and bottom half of the keys. And then we have to use some magic to restore them. We're going to use, really low-level magic. Now, this creature has been going down here to heal itself. It will keep healing itself as long as this obelisk is here. A simple obelisk made from an alien stone sits atop the well. A runic design is carved into one side, proclaiming its allegiance. We have to destroy this. Alright, now that it's destroyed, we can destroy the vampire. Congratulations, we did it. And here we find the Summon Horror Spell Scroll. That is spell 10 that I was worried that we might have missed. The scroll is host to an incantation written in panic scrolls of blood. It reads, "The bestial fury of the horror is unleashed by this magic. The horror's abilities are yours. Enemies may be crushed or rent apart, racked by magic. The spell should not be undertaken lightly, for its toll on the psyche of mortal kind is high. It requires the Tyr and Antorek runes." And down here is where we find the double shotgun. Like the elephant gun, that can be fired either single or double barrel. I figure we're just going to keep going double barrel. There we go. Lots of ammunition, because we're going back down the well. And when Maximilian went down here, well, he only went to the gates. He had to fight a guardian there. Well, we're going much further than that. Maximilian had not lied. The city is miraculous. It glows in the darkness like an incredible jewel. The thought of what lies inside, the guardians of Xel'lotath, make Edward shiver in fear. 9 great towers dwarf the surrounding city. Perhaps the towers serve as a focus, channeling great tides of energy into the city itself. Alright, so the first thing we'll do is put the shield back up. And we might as well refresh the magic pool. Well, we're not doing that. We need more magic. Two green guardians. Well, we have a red saber. Take that. We're going to restore our shields again. And I'm also going to save. Now, can I enchant? Yes, we're going to enchant our elephant gun. And we're going inside the city. And looky, looky what's waiting for us. Not only is there a horror, there's a lesser guardian. And that lesser guardian is going to be a pain. Right now it's in a protective magical barrier. We gotta dispel that. Now we can take it out. We're gonna blast it both barrels with our elephant gun. Which is enough to send poor Edward flying back. The creature's not dead. Now it's dead. And this thing is massive. You know, for being, one of the creatures of Xel'lotath, which is a creature of madness and the mind, that thing is massive. These pennants look like the ones Pius had encountered in the Forbidden City, where he found the essence of the ancients. Edward briefly wondered what their purpose could be. It would seem as though the array itself serves as a massive circle of power. Each switch around the perimeter of the room corresponds to a focusing tower where a rune may be scribed. Once a spell has been scribed, it is magnified by the array. Could this be the Guardian City's weakness? If one could somehow remove the magics from this area. Well, you see these pulsating fields of energy emanate from the stone. Well, when we activate one of these, it activates a teleporter. The teleporter brings us to one of the towers. Now, sometimes at these towers, we're going to find enemies. So I want to not use the elephant gun. And at these towers, we can scribe runes. Most of them are just going to be Paragon towers. But a couple of them, we're going to be able to choose what rune we want. Alright, two Guardians. Now you would think they'd want to kill each other, but instead they want to kill me. Oh, froze me for a second there. Down you go. Okay, so let's restore our magic pool. That's going to take a few minutes. What's that? Am I from... There's somebody in the chat. Am I from Rhode Island? No, actually I am from New York, but I live in South Carolina. Although funny that you may ask, my father and my grandmother were from Rhode Island. where are you going to send us? Well, of course it's to another tower. Alright, now you have 4 symbols that we can pick from. Santac, Magnamore, Regamore, and Artak. Now we want to pick Regamore for area. And I think we're going to either end up casting Dispel Magic or Magical Attack. I was about to say I hear trappers, but there's also a horror very obviously in front of us. Now the trappers are so weak that just one shot from any weapon will do the trick. But I'm going to enchant our revolver, just for the sake of having it back at the top of our inventory list. Let's go and find... There's one over there. I see one over there. It looks like one by the stairs. And I do believe that is it. No, pull the lever, not pull the trigger. Alright, now this is the room where we fought those 2 horrors just a minute ago. Alright, this is going to be another Paragon Tower. Oh yes, this is their collection. Their collection of every monster. If you look through the glass here stands the remnants of a forgotten museum. Perhaps long ago the alcoves, now sealed with clouded gas, would have been filled with the creatures and artifacts of the lost Nga. But now they are full of the monsters that make up Xel'lotaths, Uliaths, and Chattur'ghas, and even Mantarok's monsters. Good job. A green horror, a red zombie, and a blue trapper all got loose. But we're not going to stay here to play with them. We don't have to. We can just leave. Now, I am going clockwise around the room. That's not a requirement. You can engage any array that you like and do them in any order you like. Oddly enough, I usually start at the top and then work my way clockwise around the room. But for whatever reason, I decided to start at the leftmost one. Okay, this one is what? Oh, this one looks empty. We should be fine. Although that doesn't look friendly. Alright, well, Great Grandpa. Got attacked by one of the worms. Those were one of the worms that attacked Roberto a couple of chapters back. Now after that worm attacked him, he ended up in like this shadowy, sepia-toned kind of world, and drinking his liquid courage got him out of it. Believe it or not, that's kind of a hint for something later. Okay, our rune is gone again. And I hear a trapper. Goodbye, little trapper. Okay, so now we gotta pick Chattur'gha, Ulyaoth, or Xel'lotath. Now remember, Chattur'gha is the opposing alignment. Oh, there's a problem. Okay, that guardian is hiding itself. Is it? No, it's not. I thought it was behind a barrier. Guess not. Well, it did summon a zombie. I'm gonna let that zombie be. Down you go. Also destroys the zombie that it summoned. I think that's it for this area. Okay, what, 4 more to go? Alright, park on it. Uh-oh. Trappers. A bunch of them. Nope, not gonna let you catch me off guard. Okay, so only 2 more rooms. Okay, I do believe there's another big guardian in here. Alright, so here's the question. Can we just run past you? Yep. No need to deal with them if we don't have to. I know it, Edward. You're getting tired. Looks like that was the only one. And now we have to pick the proper rune. Now the other one we picked was area. If we get this wrong, it's not that big a deal. We'll just have to come back and try again. Let's, dispel. I think that's it. Let's double check. Requires Nethlek and Regamore. Yeah, Regamore is area, and Nethlek is dispel. A huge stone block, marked with bizarre etchings, dominates the room. Is it art, a memorial, a tomb of the original inhabitants, or a bastardized interment of its loathsome conquerors? There's one. Actually, can I shoot you? Nope. I've got a barrier up. Got a shield up, too. We're just going to let you fester over there. Alright, one left. Let's see if I got this right. Edward's meddling with the array has conjured incredible energies that are now building up inside the city. It can't be contained for long. Edward needs to escape the city. So let us go. Alright, we're gonna leave the horror alone. I'm gonna shoot you. I don't need you to send me to other dimensions. Although it seems like the horror wants to come over here and hang out. Ow. Alright, I've been confused, so my controls switched up on me for a second there. Alright, we don't have much time. Move it, Edward. Now, that looks like the energy of Guardians coming in here to teleport. I don't think that's the case. I've stayed here and just watched. Nothing happens. And everything gets just wiped out. The city still stands, but the monster's gone. "48 years later. This is the same night that Alex got her phone call that her grandfather had died. And so ends the story of Edward Roivas.